Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use the DIY Packraft inflation bag to inflate your DIY Packraft. And then I'll compare it to an electric pump so you can decide which you prefer. Towards the end of the video, I'll show you the Ultralight version of my inflation bag, and I'll also show you my emergency backup inflation technique. Use the video chapters to skip ahead if you want. The inflation bag's soft tubing can be shoved or screwed into the larger part of the Boston valve without damaging the threads, and it stays in place quite well. I would actually recommend screwing it in less than I'm doing here, because this just makes it harder to remove. Making sure the bag isn't twisted, I put my thumbs and index fingers inside the lip of the bag and pull it tight, using my other fingers to hold it in place. Then I shake the bag vertically so it fills with air. Then I quickly bring my hands together and gather the top of the bag so that the air inside can't escape. And then I use one hand to hold the bag closed while I use the other to press it against my legs. I find that it works best if I stand with my feet beneath the Packraft so that the valve is just ahead of my toes. After I've pressed the bag until my hand touches my legs, there's still lots of air in the bag, so without letting go of it, I pull the top of the bag so my hand slides down until the fabric is tight again. And then I squeeze more air into the Packraft. I don't try to get every last bit of air from the bag into the Packraft, because it's more efficient to stop and gather another big volume of air. If the wind is blowing, you can just hold it open towards the wind and it'll fill right up. A small amount of air will escape from the Packraft while you're refilling the bag, but as you can see, that's not a problem. Shake the bag, close it quickly, press it against your legs, pull it through your hand until it's tight again, press it again. Pull it through your hand again, and press it again. I repeat these steps until the Packraft is full of air, and then, while continuing to squeeze the bag, I feel with my thumb for the end of the inflation tube so I can plug it to prevent air from escaping from the Packraft. Then I hold the Boston valve ready with my other hand as I work the inflation tube out of the threads, and as soon as the tube pops free, I screw in the valve. Some air loss is inevitable as you do this, but it's not much. Once the valve is screwed in, I open the smaller one-way valve and blow air in by mouth until the Packraft is the desired firmness, which is generally as much as I can comfortably blow in. After the Packraft is inflated, I like to put it in the water right away to start the tempering process, but only if there's no risk of losing it to the wind or current. If I'm leaving the Packraft on land and in direct sunlight for more than a couple minutes, I don't fully inflate it, because the air inside the Packraft will heat up and the pressure will increase, and I don't want to overstress the fabric. Air pressure is directly related to temperature, and when the Packraft comes in contact with the water, it takes a while for the air temperature inside the tubes to reach equilibrium. If the water is colder than the air, you'll notice the Packraft going soft for the first 5 to 15 minutes after you set out, so be prepared to stop and top it up. I inflate the seat and backrest with the inflation bag too. I actually find it a bit easier to inflate them first. The inflation bag tubing fits snugly over the end of the seat valves, so I just open the valve and stick it on. Once it's fully inflated, I remove the tubing, I blow in the last bit of air. I use the tip of my tongue to prevent air from escaping while I use both hands to twist the valve closed. Many people prefer to inflate their Packrafts using a lightweight electric pump, so I decided to try one of the most popular ones, the Flextail Gear Max Pump 2020, which currently costs about $30 US. It weighs slightly less than the inflation bag, but it's not waterproof and it's battery operated, so you'll definitely need a backup plan. The deal breaker for me personally is the noise that it makes, which is like a miniature vacuum cleaner. I go into the backcountry to get away from stuff like that, but I guess it doesn't bother some people. The pump comes with several adapters, but none of them work hands-free on the seat valve or the Boston valve, so you have to hold it in place. Then you just turn it on and wait. You have to switch adapters between inflating the seat and the Packraft, which isn't a big deal, as long as you're careful not to lose them. The pump isn't strong enough to blow air through the check valve and the Boston valve, so you still need to inflate through the threaded portion, and then finish it off by mouth. In my tests, inflating this Packraft using the electric pump takes just under 2 minutes, while using the inflation bag takes about 2.5 minutes. So, using the pump saves between 30 seconds and a minute. This is my Ultralight version of the inflation bag, which is made from 0.34 ounce Dyneema composite fabric. It weighs 45 grams or 1.5 ounces, only a quarter as much as the regular inflation bag. So if you're trying to reduce your pack weight, it might be worthwhile making one for yourself. The materials alone cost about $50 US though, so it's not practical for most people, and I can't sell them as kits. So what if your pump dies or you lose your inflation bag? For waterproofness, I line my backpack with a plastic kitchen garbage bag like this one. In a pinch, you can inflate a DIY Packraft by poking a hole in the bottom of the bag and using the Boston valve's retaining nut to hold it in place like this. I was going to inflate the whole Packraft for you outside, but it's pouring rain today, so I hope you get the idea. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.